What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2. And Jason Lee just revealed that he had private DMs between him and Tory that proves his innocence. Now, I want to say this. A lot of people are hell-bent on this. Tory's innocent. There's been this whole campaign. Jason Lee seems to have jumped on this campaign that believes Tory Lanez is innocent. But there's a little bit more detail that people are forgetting. It's not because he shot Megan. It's because Megan was shot. I'll explain a little bit further as we go ahead and do a live reaction to this video. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. All right, so let me go ahead and set up the scenario for you. So basically, Jason Lee, he does this show every week, and he has this panelist. And so what they're discussing is if the evidence that has recently, let me say evidence in quotation, that has recently came out, should Megan be charged with perjury for lying? Now, here's the thing. There's this driver that is stating that he overheard a conversation with Kelsey and her husband where she admitted that she was the one who shot the gun. And so he went ahead and told Unite the People, the group of lawyers representing Tory, that Kelsey admitted to this and he overheard it, and his heart wouldn't let him just see an innocent black man in jail. So they had to confess, he had to confess and all this BS, right? Here's the thing. I was under the impression this was the driver that was in the car that night of the whole situation. So I was like, okay, well, this sounds more believable. No, this is the driver for Kelsey during the Tory Lanez trial. And I guess somewhere in the car, Kelsey admitted to... So it's not the driver. The driver name is Joaquin Smith that was in the car at the time of the shooting. This guy is someone who was driving her to the Tory Lanez trial, and somewhere in that car, she admitted to she was the one. Y'all, they running with the story. And believe it or not, Tory Lanez and his team had already knew this information for a while. The reason why it's being brought out now is because of the whole stabbing issue. As you guys know, Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times. Now, Tory Lanez might not be my favorite person, but definitely we send our thoughts and prayers because, you know, we don't want nobody murked or anybody deleted off this earth. You know, I got to keep it within the realm of the algorithm. But Jason Lee is talking to his panelists, so let's go ahead and get into it while he also reveals a private conversation that he had with Tory Lanez. So let's do
it. She said that he shot her. She saw him shoot. She saw him shoot her.
Correct.
The lawyer's now saying that the bodyguard who was in the car, who was sober, who was guarding the bodies, saw her shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
If it's proven that the bodyguard is true.
Like I said, I was confused by that too. I was thinking, oh, this is the bodyguard in the car. Like, of course. But remember, he magically disappeared, and so he didn't testify. Remember that? There was that whole controversy. So, no, it's not. This is Kelsey's driver who drove her to the trial who is saying this. See how convoluted that shit sound?
True. That the corroborating witness, which would be Tory, says yes, and then she's found to have been involved or lied, and he's freed. The question is simple. Should she go to prison?
You changed the conversation. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No, I'm saying I was going to say before you cut me off.
Liar.
I was going to say in order for her to go to jail for this, it would have to be proven that she conspired to lie and set Tory up.
But even if she didn't conspire, why would you say Tory shot me?
Again, I like when people cut me off. I don't let me finish my thought.
Don't try to be a victim because you want to fix it now because you were a man ago. I don't know. I don't have enough information.
Correct. I was saying, should she go to jail because she said she didn't because she thought this person did it. No, you have to prove that you have to prove that she intended to lie. What I'm saying is if she was just confused in the moment, no, she shouldn't go to jail. But
confused in the moment,
if she was confused because to still accuse someone.
This is the thing. I've never been shot or shot at. You
I have.
Correct. You have. So
and when I found out who did, you know what I said? He did it.
Correct.
And the people that did it were convicted. Now that'd be like me coming back and saying, I really lied. They did it.
Correct. But what I'm saying is there an instance where I believe I could be drunk and a gun comes out and I get shot and I didn't exactly see who did it, but I believe this person did it? Yes. So I'm saying it would have to be proven that she intended to lie and set Tory up. Then if that's
the only time that Megan actually lied, it was when the whole scenario of when they initially had got pulled over or the police had rolled up on them when she said she stepped on glass. That was the initial lie. But after that, because she had bullet fragments, they had to ask her and they had to investigate. She told the truth of what happened after that. So with that being said, she did not lie in court. She has always said that it was Tory, except for the beginning, the initial incident when they got pulled over or rolled up on. I think the car was already stopped.
The case, she should absolutely go to jail. But if she just didn't know who did it and she thought he was the person who did it and everybody around her saying he did it, then no, she shouldn't go to jail. She just didn't know what happened.
Her wasn't around her. It was only them four.
You're talking about perjury.
Hold on.
Correct.
Hold on. And guess what?
Correct.
Tory DM'd me some time ago. I never like to put receipts up, but let me go ahead and just pull it
Man,
out.
free him.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what Tory said to me. Hold on. Tory Lanez. Let me go back to the pre-stabbing dates. Hold on.
Oh God.
Tory Lanez. Okay. In a text message between Tory and I said, yo. He said, what's good? I said, how you surviving that bullshit? Wish we could have sat down before you left. Because you know me and him hung out with Madonna when they were messing around. Don't believe me? Take a look at this photo.
Wow.
I said, do you have a number?
I didn't know that Madonna and Tory Lanez was hooking, because remember there was some controversy that he used her song. I think he redid one of her songs and she sent him a cease and desist. So, well, hell, that could be the reason why she sent that cease and desist, because they broke up or whatnot.
He said, what's yours? Let me move on to the text messages now. Then we started to text message each other. I said, how are you? How you been? He said, incredible, in very high spirits and preparing to physically come home this year. I said, when? I need to come in there and get an interview, LOL. He said, I can't say exact days, but I know I'll be home this year. I said, how long you been gone? I'm so confused by your case. He said, actually, I have a crazy plan when I get back that I think you should know and be a part of, because I'm only going to do one interview. And he said he's been gone 2.5 years. I said, I want to be a part of that plan. He said, it's honestly a bunch of suppressed evidence that was kept away from me during trial. I said, Wack told me that, but didn't say what. He said, like, through trial, they keep saying it was inconclusive on the gun DNA, but I always knew I never touched the gun. So I asked my lawyer to retest it. And sure enough, I was 102% excluded completely from everything, just like I said. I said, well, why didn't you?
Now, I don't know about that, but what I can speak to is that it was said that his DNA was not on the magazine, right? So it wasn't on the clip. However, the DNA on the actual firearm was inconclusive. Inconclusive, if you look up the definition, it does not absolve you from, oh, well, you didn't touch it. It just said, like, hey, there wasn't enough DNA on it for us to actually pick up on your specific DNA. Now, it did talk about there was a DNA of an unidentified woman. It did state that. Now, it's very interesting that they never did a DNA sample of anybody else. I will say that is very strange. However, with it being inconclusive, it means that there was not enough of his DNA to actually prove it. But here's the thing. Everyone wants to say, oh, Tory didn't shoot her, didn't shoot Megan. Okay, that's fine. However, what he really went to jail for was even having a firearm. And even if you didn't shoot that thing off, you still get in trouble. What he was found guilty on, or the 3 felonies, was related to the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion, right? Related to the shooting, not for shooting her, related to the shooting. So the charges included assault with a semi-automatic firearm, possessing a loaded, unregistered firearm. Ding, ding, ding. In a vehicle and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. So yeah. So it didn't matter if whether or not he did. Someone got hurt from a firearm of your possession. Yeah, you done for either way. So let's continue.
You just say who did it. Fuck doing time for something you ain't do. He said, I took the rap for Kelsey, never wanted her to go to jail, and I never wanted Megan to get hurt or anything. So in me stopping her from getting shot, I got the raw deal. Crazy how life works. And to think they made me the poster boy for the unprotection of Black women, when in all honesty, I protected 2 Black women, one from getting shot and one from going to jail. Never said nothing in 8 to 10 years for them to live. It's a crazy, crazy place we live in. I said, but why you ain't just say that? Nigga, when I got shot, I told. And he said, I lost my mother at 11 years old. I couldn't sleep with myself. I was the reason for taking a mother away from her kid. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, my God.
Tory Lanez.
He's better than me.
Again.
Listen, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. If I know that I'm going to get taken down and I know that you did it, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I know you didn't have a mother, so I'm worried about. Do we actually think Tory cared about these women like that? Because then you have to think about it. Well, why did you call Kelsey the next day and try to offer her some money to keep her mouth shut or not say anything? Now, what they're claiming is, oh, that wasn't a confession. But why would you need to bribe somebody if you didn't do anything? If anything, wouldn't Kelsey be calling you trying to figure out what happened or what to do? Like, why were you calling and saying you were, oh, sorry, and all this other stuff? Remember, they played that recording in I was going to say church, but in court. Also, Kelsey had already confessed to the police that, yeah, it was Tory who did it. Now, they go with this whole Sean guy, right? There was a Sean Kelly guy. He was the neighbor who said he'd seen it out his window. Originally, he told the police that he seen a flash from, it seemed like a woman, which they're assuming was Kelsey, right? But then when he testified in court, he said he does remember seeing a flash with a woman, but also he mentioned that that woman was then beat up by the 2 men, the Joaquin Smith guy, who was the driver, and then Tory Lanez, assuming those were the 2 men in the car, right? They were beat up by the 2 men. And then he said he did see another guy, at least a man, seeing at least 4 or 5 flashes. So he did see, okay, 1 flash from the woman, but he also seen 4 other flashes from a man. He doesn't know which one it was, but he did see 4 flashes from a man. Here's the thing. I don't know who Tory would be trying to protect. I don't believe he was trying to protect Kelsey or Megan. That doesn't make any sense at all. If you didn't do it, wouldn't you tell the prosecutors that you are not the prosecutors, but your lawyers? They would have definitely said, like, hey, this is the person who actually shot it. Tory didn't shoot it. But they knew that you did because everybody had all the evidence and the information that they needed. Yeah, you could go with that the gun didn't have your DNA on it. No, it was inconclusive. They tried that, but it didn't work. And mind you, remember, it was said that Tory's, his first set of lawyers had told him, like, oh, we can't go with that excuse that Kelsey was the one who shot the gun because nobody would believe it. See, a lot of people are leaving out information because they want to run with a narrative and make Megan the bad guy. Whether Megan's a liar, she's promiscuous, she could be the worst person in the world, right? At the end of the day, she ended up with bullet fragments in her foot. So it don't matter how bad of a person she is. It don't matter what she lied about. Well, there were some fragments in her foot, and it seemed like nobody wants to talk. Honestly, I feel that all of them were drunk as hell. And the one person, the actual driver of that night, not this other guy who's making up this story or allegedly, but the actual driver of the car is the one that knows the real story. Kelsey, Megan, Tory, they were all drunk. That's basically what it is. It's a whole bunch of drunk people trying to figure out, like, oh, how do we cover or save our asses? That's what I see. But again, because of Tory and he was not supposed to have a gun on him, he still went down for the crime. So no matter what, Tory's going to be in jail. Again, I don't wish no bad on nobody as far as him being stabbed up. I'm glad that he's still living to tell his story. But at the end of the day, all this free Tory stuff, this campaign to free him, it's ridiculous, you guys. I do, and I'm going to leave y'all with this, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember they came from Kylie Jenner house, right? If it was Kylie who got popped that night, this would be a whole different scenario. I'm going to just leave y'all with that. But please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't mind if y'all disagree. I actually like that. Deuces, everybody. We out.